the conditions are deplorable for all, women have the heightened risk of being exposed to human trafficking, sexual exploitation, and gender-based violence. Prior to the pandemic, femicide, the murder of a woman for reasons of sex or gender, was already the #1 cause of death for Venezuelan women in Colombia. And 90% of sex workers in Norte de Santander, a heavily transited entry point into Colombia, were Venezuelan women. In Lebanon, news of Syrian women being exploited, abused, engaging in transactional sex, and falling prey to human trafficking and prostitution have only become more common. And with the current pandemic, things have only gotten worse.
But violence is not confined to the battlefield. For many women and girls, the threat looms largest where they should be safest, in their own homes.
77% of crimes against women occur in the home, and disease outbreaks have been shown to lead to increased experiences of violence against women. As women are forced to stay home, they suffer greater risk of intimate partner violence and abuse. In Colombia, the Observatorio Colombiano de las Mujeres reported a 91% increase in calls to the domestic violence help hotlines. In Lebanon, the NGO Abad reported a 60% increase to hotlines since the pandemic began. The lack of legal status for most Venezuelan and Syrian refugee women only exacerbates the situation. Women are often afraid of reporting abuse for fear of deportation or reprisal from the abuser.
An important point to make that is true not just in Latin America, but worldwide, is that when people are forced to flee their homes, they are at a greater risk of exploitation, period. But human trafficking, especially for the purposes of sexual exploitation, overwhelmingly affects women and girls.
And as resources are devoted toward the pandemic, even less are allotted to shelters or assistance networks for women.
Pre-COVID, the situation is already pretty dire. In terms of gender-based violence, that is extremely vast across the region. Intimate partner violence affects a third of women, if not more. It's always underreported, and there are no systems of protection or prevention.
With no real reporting or safety mechanisms, refugee women are at the greatest risk for sexual and gender-based violence and sexual exploitation.